That's a fraud. What they're doing is so over the top that they either win because they're so bold or they fail because they're so bold. Will their confidence game go on forever? Will the United States of America and the UK, England, Germany, all these great nations, sovereign nations that fought huge wars with each other, now just get into a bunch of scum bankers who create a bunch of counterfeit derivatives? This is the world being conquered by people worse than Bernie Madoff, worse than Ken Lay. It was Ken Lay for carbon taxes. I mean, this is a group of scum. Are we really ruled by the hypocrite Al Gore? Are we really ruled by frauds like Michael Moore with his 6 bodyguards with guns, but you can't have them? Are we really going to be under this new royalty and submit to their tyranny? The decision is up to you. But the battle against TPP now goes into the next phase. It's uphill. But within that fight, we will expose it even more, and then suddenly it'll be downhill. The more we fight, the stronger we get. It's like muscles. It's a long struggle. History shows that.
Communist China freely allows the sale of bulletproof armor plates, while our U.S. politicians argue from banning Americans from owning body armor.
Does that sound right to you?
Arm your American body at InfidelBodyArmor.com. Infidel Body Armor just won't quit.
Hi, Ted Anderson with Midas Resources. Is it time to convert paper 401ks and IRAs to solid gold and silver yet? Get our 10 Reasons book free. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
This is Dan Phillips. You owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpillard.com.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
The human body is extraordinary, despite all the stress we inflict upon it. Thousands of people across the country use an extremely effective product to help their bodies stay balanced. It's Heart and Body Extract, an all-natural herbal formula designed to help maintain healthy blood pressure, clean arteries, promote good circulation, and balance cholesterol. Heart and Body Extract, along with good nutrition and exercise, can give you a life free from pain, sickness, and fear. Recapture your youthful vitality and experience your body healing itself with the aid of Heart and Body Extract. Learn more and read scores of testimonials from satisfied customers at heartandbody.com. Heart and Body Extract offers a lifetime guarantee with no price increase in over 14 years. For free info, call 866-295-5305 now. That's 866-295-5305 or heartandbody.com. Distributor inquiries welcome. 866-295-5305.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight. As you were hearing in that last segment, Alex Jones was saying, we're not done yet. Of course, the TPP has not passed. We need to understand that. That's another part of their tactic, is to make you think that it's already over, to make you think that you've lost. They haven't had the vote. They voted and passed fast track, and now they're going to try to run down. We've got at least, there were 2 treaties that we know they've been working on for a very long time, the Transatlantic, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, joining us to Asia, joining us to Europe, just as we've seen with the Trilateral Commission's plan for a world government, moving from economic unity to political unity. Nevertheless, there are other treaties that are coming down the road, but we can fight these one at a time. And as Alex pointed out, even if they pass these, we can still reverse them. There are people in Europe now who are pushing to get out of the EU. So it's not over. As he pointed out, once people understand that we weren't spouting out some wild conspiracy theories, we were telling you what their conspiracy plans were and have been for a very long time. When we look at the Supreme Court decision today, again, there was another Supreme Court decision on Obamacare. When we look at Obamacare and we look at Obama trade, they have something in common, and it's not Obama. It is holding a gun to your head and forcing you to buy products from corporations who have influence with government. That's what they're both about. We talk about the fact that, as the headlines say, Supreme Court upholds nationwide health care law subsidies, gives Obamacare a big win. Listen, they like to portray this as these are subsidies for individuals. These are subsidies, folks, for the insurance companies. They're the ones who get to set the rates. They set the rates high.
You bastard.
They set it for certain things that you would not normally buy, like if you were a single male, you're not going to buy maternity coverage unless you're buying it as part of Obamacare. Then you will pay for that. They will set the rates for that. This is a massive transfer of wealth from the individuals to the insurance companies, and that's what these subsidies are really subsidizing. They're not subsidizing your health care. They're subsidizing your insurance that was fixed by these insurance companies, telling you what you're going to buy, what you can't buy. And again, it doesn't really matter what the law is when you've got a government that doesn't pay any attention to it. That's what
those fans loud.
He says we ought to start calling this law SCOTUS care. Now, of course, SCOTUS is the Supreme Court of the U.S. That's the abbreviation where they talk about it. He says this is a defense of the indefensible. He says rather than rewriting the law, this is Supreme Court Justice Scalia. He says rather than rewriting the law, which is what they did, under the pretense of interpreting it, the court should have left it to Congress to decide what to do about the Act's limitation of tax credits to state exchanges. But instead they just pretend it doesn't say what it clearly says. For example, okay, when you look at this law, they have they say Congress would have had to amend the Affordable Care Act. So they put it in there that there would be state subsidies. States did not enact those subsidies. So rather than going back and following a constitutional process to go back and fix the law, like Congress has the duty to do, instead, they just take it with the Supreme Court and say, we're going to pretend that it says something that it doesn't really say so that you don't have to go through that legal process. They say Congress would have had to amend the Affordable Care Act to fix the, quote, established by the state, unquote, language, a politically treacherous and likely untenable action in a Republican Congress. So it'd be a bit of a bother, and it might not really pass. So let's just say that it means something that it doesn't mean, that it clearly doesn't mean. This is what one of the attorneys for the challengers said. If the rule of law means anything, it is that text is not infinitely malleable, that agencies must follow the law as written, not revise it to better achieve what they assume Congress had as a purpose. Yeah, but that's not the world that we currently live in. That's the world we're going to live in. We're going to make that happen with your help. Be with your help. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
There we go. Off to the races. Gone. For the nightly news. That's a sack by Schneider. That's picked off by Williams. Don't want to get a celebration penalty. Higgins out with academic troubles, so Carter's in there.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the corporate states of America,
and to the plutocracy for which it stands, one nation, under debt, easily divisible,
with congressmen and justice for sale.
tonight. The Trans-Pacific Partnership that's been developed for 10 years in secret by mega corporations worldwide will merge the North American Union that's been integrated by stealth, rammed through by stealth, and the European Union also put in by fraud and secretly, then to be unveiled later. These totalitarian systems are basically being finished up right now.
Ooh.
Ladies and gentlemen, the United States of America is almost finished. Today,
Darren
we
McBreen,
became America
the host tonight.
Incorporated, a global corporate empire that no longer represents the will of the American people. The stranglehold over both political parties by the multinational corporations, Big Pharma and Wall Street, has shockingly and shamefully become evident, as the Trojan horse that is the fast track to the TPP has been approved by the Senate and will no doubt be signed by our puppet president, the Manchurian candidate, Barack Obama. And it makes no difference that the majority of American people overwhelmingly oppose the Trans-Pacific Partnership.
No good.
Because it's not about you. This is about corporate greed and the corporate takeover of our country. Welcome to the plantation.
Well, it took them 10 years to ram it through. In fact, 10 years ago, the mainstream media said it didn't exist. Now they admit it merges the North American Union and the European Union with the Asian Union. It's the TPP. It's already been ratified by secret corporate groups. U.S. polls showed that upwards of 90% of Americans were against it. Congress wasn't even allowed to read it, but one page at a time in a secret room. And after it was voted down repeatedly in the House, it finally passed earlier this week. And today, just minutes ago, it passed the Senate. And the media spun it like it was a victory for Obama and his legacy. His legacy, like it's a football game, like the New England Patriots won something.
Williams is gone.
This is, in the 240-year history of this country, the biggest blow to our sovereignty ever. We've got 3 sections of it that have been leaked by WikiLeaks. Another 25 are secret. Those 3 sections alone make the president a dictator. Congress has no legislative control over borders, over trade, over finances, over currency. It is truly mind-blowing. And Congress is so blackmailed, so controlled, it was rammed through. To the Democrats' credit, a lot of them in the House and Senate voted against it, and along with the Tea Party. The The Republican establishment, Democrat establishment, combined forces yet again against the American people. Look, in the past, armies conquered nations. Now it's these corporate boards. It's all through fraud. We can expect to be looted. We can expect to have our laws made in secret, just like the people of the European Union. This is a very sad day for America. It's so surreal. It's so breathtaking. I have trouble myself believing it happened. I was so excited last week when there was incredible pressure on the House and they voted it down. But Obama traveled to the Hill, twisted arms, and got a bunch of Democrats to go over to him. They used the whole Confederate battle flag diversion as a way to get people obsessed on that. And we took it hook, line, and sinker. Now is the fight to try to stop them from fully implementing it. But the whole thing's secret in perpetuity, so how do you fight something that's invisible? It's stealth. And that's what the North American Union documents talked about that got released by Judicial Watch when they sued back in 2007, was that it's North American integration by stealth, that they would then integrate North America with the other unions by stealth as well. That's in the document I covered in my film Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement. Understand, the bottom's now fallen out. The government's gone full tyranny, and nothing is stopping them now because of the blackmail, the insider trading, whatever it is. Katie barred the door. All over the world, governments are pledging their support to the big six mega banks, and we are headed towards world government. The Pope is calling for a global government. Everybody's calling for one in the establishment. It is a unified front, left, right, and center, to bring in an unelected, secretive, planetary corporate government. We have been conquered by Goldman Sachs and J.P. Morgan and the Bank of England. This country that was somewhat free since our revolution in 1776 wasn't perfect, but became the apple of the world's eye because we had more freedom than others. Has now sunk into the mud. And this is a devastating blow. While we were busy complaining about Confederate flags and sex changes for Jenner, while we were busy entranced by the television, our country was stolen. As Thomas Jefferson warned, if private central banks are ever allowed to issue the currency, our grandchildren will wake up homeless on the continent our forebears conquered. I'm Alex Jones from the front lines of the info war. The tyranny is just starting, but humanity fighting back has just begun.
So this is a global coup d'etat with a bunch of Republicans and Democrats working together to screw over the nation. Because let's face it, they've been bought and paid for, and they've totally sold out at this point. And if you're not familiar with what's going on here, I don't know if you realize it, but the TPP is the largest trade deal in world history. It involves countries stretching from Chile all the way up to Japan, representing more than 790 million people and 40% of the world economy. But it was negotiated in secret meetings behind closed doors. You and I weren't allowed to see it. Hell, they even kept Congress in the dark. They weren't allowed to see it either. But I tell you who was allowed to take part in the secret meetings, over 600 corporate executives, corporate advisors were in there negotiating this deal. And here's a little example of what they came up with. Big corporations have become even stronger with an international tribunal of private attorneys outside of any nation's legal system. And that means no more laws to protect consumers from unsafe products. No more laws to protect us from unhealthy foods. More Americans will lose their jobs. Unemployment will rise even higher as millions of jobs will be shipped overseas. In fact, according to Professor Alan Blinder of Princeton University, he expects as many as 40 million U.S. jobs that could be sent overseas. Wow. So this is very, very serious, and you can expect a dramatic increase in poverty. I mean, healthcare is going to go through the roof. And just like Obamacare and mandatory vaccines, this is a way for the corporate giants to force us to buy their products. I mean, this is a total corporate takeover of America. And joining us now is Anthony Gucciardi from Natural Society and David Knight from InfoWars Nightly News. And I wanted you guys in here to try to help make sense of all this because there's a lot of confusion going on right now. Most people never even heard of the TPP. And Knight, let's start with you. How does this affect the average American citizen.
Well, yeah, as we said earlier today, that there's the deliberate confusion, calling it everything is a T and a P, right? You have the TPP, the TTIP, the TPA, the TAA. What they need to understand is what's passed is the fast track procedure to ram this through, but it hasn't been rammed through. A lot of people are going to look at this and they're going to say, we lost. We tried to stop that process and we lost that process, but these trade agreements have not gone through.
So the fight isn't over.
That's right. It's going to affect a lot of people, and I think you see a lot of resistance from the Democrat side, more so than you do from the Republican side, because I think the base of the Democrats are very upset about this. They understand this is going to affect food, it's going to affect jobs, the environment, a lot of things that they hold dear. First Amendment, okay? Things that they hold dear. Republicans are looking at this and thinking, oh, this is just free trade. It's not free trade. This is crony capitalism, just like what we saw happen with the banker bailouts. This is crony capitalism, but it's also going to affect, conservatives need to understand this, it's going to affect the Second Amendment. It is also going to affect immigration. Open borders is a part of this. Senator Sessions looked at this. He's one of, if not the most conservatively rated senators. He looked at this and he says, look, this is really going to affect our open borders. That's what happened with NAFTA. Remember, that was just a trade agreement. It opened the borders. This does the same thing, and it has a lot of issues that conservatives should be interested in. But the key thing is that this is a secret deal that's being worked out with corporations. It's being shoved down everybody's throats, and it's attacking our sovereignty. That's where they typically won't go, is talking about
on the
world
defense.
Government. They keep those hands tied behind their back. They don't want to talk about that. We need to talk about that as well. But there's issues for both the left and the right in this.
Well, and Anthony, you said something interesting. You said that it was the Monsanto Protection Act on steroids. How does this trade agreement affect or benefit evil corporations like Monsanto?
I think there's such a misconstrued amount of information surrounding the TPP and the TPA. And just to clarify and break it down like David was saying, the TPA is what passed, right? So that's the Trade Promotion Authority. And that allows for the TPP to be fast-tracked. And how that works is Obama comes in and says, okay, this is what I want for the TPP, and the Congress can either vote it up or down.
No more amendments.
Right, no more amendments whatsoever. And this is from an international body of groups and individuals who are putting this and shoving it down their throats. So there's still an opportunity to defeat the TPP because it's not officially passed. We've just allowed for the fast tracking. But specifically, we break this down, and everyone always is saying, like David was saying, the Democrats are against this. And then we're saying, well, the Republicans are against this. The lie is that so many people are for this. There's no one for this. Anyone that's for this is either being paid for by the corporations who are benefiting from it, or being bought the propaganda by these corporations that are benefiting.
Well, and we're all being left in the dark because this was negotiated behind closed doors. Congress really hasn't been able to take a look at it. I thought it was interesting that even though none of us were allowed to see it, over 600 what they called corporation advisors were allowed to go in and negotiate this deal. So this is a big corporation.
So they make sure it's good for them.
600 economic hitmen, if you will.
Yeah. Right. Well, they want to make sure that the corporations are actually benefiting from this because they're the ones pushing it. They're the ones that are going to railroad this through. For example, Monsanto. Over 90% of the United States public is in favor of GMO labels. There's no question.
Absolutely.
It should have happened years and years ago. It should have happened decades ago, right? But now we're at a turning point where states like Vermont are issuing mandatory GMO labeling. Monsanto is going to lose billions of dollars. They're already losing profits every single month. They lost $128 million in the last fourth quarter. Okay? They are losing. The grocery lobbyists are also losing. They know they're failing. This is their only hope to fight back and ban GMO labeling.
They make it illegal,
yes,
basically, right?
Yes. Based on the legalese of the entire bill, some of it has been leaked, and of course the mysterious parts of it. Legal experts are saying
Texas Tech
it gives the ability for Monsanto and the United States government to go in and say, well, we've already determined GMOs are safe, so labeling them would be the wrong thing to do.
Well, how do they make it illegal? It hurts their profit? Is that why? I mean, is that what they point out?
Well, because they can argue that it's safe. I mean, remember, as we spoke about earlier, the U.S. State Department has been caught paying Monsanto's marketing bills overseas.
And it's on
that's how in bed they are. They can go ahead and say that GMOs are so safe that you don't need to know if they're in your food, because what would it matter? It's the same as natural food. And then, why would we label anything then? Why would we label aspartame, right, if it's so safe? Why would we label artificial ingredients if they're so safe? Where does it end? What if we don't need to label any of those things because it's just the same as regular food? The TPP is extremely dangerous, and we soon may actually have no idea what we're eating if it goes through and they push this legislation on us. Wow.
Your food agreements aren't just going to be secret. This trade agreement is secret, and that ought to raise everybody's concerns. And I think that's been one of the most effective things that has come out in opposition of this. If they won't tell you what's in it, it's because they know you're going to oppose it.
That's
and
almost
see what's in it.
ticked off.
And that ought to get everybody upset. Is the secrecy of this thing.
All right, thank you guys. I appreciate it. So this is basically what has happened with previous so-called free trade deals, but on a much, much larger scale. And basically, this could be potentially the end of America as we know it, should this traitorous act be pushed through. I mean, it's going to affect each and every one of us. And I don't even think they should call it a trade deal, because it is a deal that is made by traitors.
That's caught. And no challenges back in the day. So we're going. That's a catch. Ruled on the field.
I want to talk about
Well, there actually was
perfect
challenges.
storm.
Never mind. No
the
challenges
perfect
here.
storm I'm going to discuss is a really good perfect storm. I have prayed, literally, to be able to find a high-quality gun sponsor that is affordable and that is extremely well-made and effective that I can promote to my audience. About 6 months ago, we get contacted by Head Down Firearms, hdfirearms.com. Low cost compared to competitors. Super high quality, super lightweight,
Color
super
the brink.
accurate,
He
and
dropped it.
experts salivate over it and love it. Their
I don't know how he
entire
did it,
line
but he did
of
it.
5.56, 308, and their accessories are simply amazing. And it's designed by battle-hardened vets that know what they wish they would have had. You need to go to hdfirearms.com today, or you can visit headdownproducts.com. That's headdownproducts.com.
They need a touchdown here.
About
They
a
don't
year
need
and
a
a half
field
ago, he
goal.
introduced you already.
Field
He
goal,
said,
that's
"This is
not
Dr. Group's liver cleanse, one he recommends, and he's developing this proprietary stuff he's testing on himself right now. You really ought to do it. The results are
Colors
dramatic.
knocked down,
I'm like,
and
no
they
way,
get
no way
nothing.
I'm doing it. I don't believe that there's giant black or green balls in my gallbladder. This is how ignorant I am." And he's like, "Look at it online." I'm not looking at it online. Stuff like that grosses me out. I don't want to go. Well, finally, about 6 months ago, they convinced me to do it.
I personally think everybody should go through liver cleansing if you haven't done one. Results speak for themselves. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people have done this, and it dates back even 1,000 years, drinking oils to cleanse and purge the liver. Actually, the Greeks and the over in India with Ayurvedic medicine have done it the same way. But how it works is, what you should do, and this is what our proprietary research led us to do back starting in the early 90s when we were looking at the best ways to cleanse the liver, was to develop an herbal formula that contains herbs that will help soften or break down these globules or these stones in the liver and the gallbladder.
This liver shield is the high-quality proprietary liver Trex developed by Dr. Group that we private label through him, and it's extremely strong.
Look at him
extremely
go, and he's
concentrated,
gone.
Extremely high power. You combine that with the Oxy powder, oxygen-based intestinal cleanser, dietary supplement, clinically tested. We have them discounted
And
at
there's
the
a
lowest
flag
price
for
you're going to find
celebration.
anywhere. Infowarslife.com. Obviously, folks probably talk to their healthcare provider before they do this. This is one of the single biggest results, if not the biggest I've ever seen in my life, literally in a 6-day period. This is something anybody can do. Obviously, the literature is well known on what liver cleanses do. This is the best one out there from our research. Infowarslife.com or 888-253-3139.
Jakari Jackson for Infowars.com. A topic I've been wanting to cover for a while now is that of human trafficking. And last week, myself and Kit Daniels had a chance to go out to the Human 2020 event. And this was a showcasing of artists presenting their works in hopes of bringing more attention to the very serious issue. I had a chance to speak to some of the people behind the event.
We're just impressed with the turnout this evening. Yeah, Human 2020 is an initiative. It is something that is coming from civil society.
That's
It is
blocked.
all over the world. People are just
And it's a
picking it up
flag.
and they're just saying, hey, what can we do to be part of the solution? So here in Austin, we have a bunch of professional artists. They came together. They said they wanted to create artwork to help raise the awareness around the issue in our city and around the world.
Hi, I'm Nisha Khanna, and I'm part of the Human 2020 Anti-Human Trafficking Initiative. And over here we have Salvage Jewelry. It's jewelry created by women salvaged from difficult situations in Sri Lanka, such as human trafficking, abuse, poverty, and it creates and the company's called Salvage, so that play upon the word of salvage material for women that are salvaged. And then all the proceeds go back into feeding that business and creating jobs for women and helping them get out of that situation and be financially independent. And then we have some of the bangles, bracelets. I strung 2 sets together.
Oh, Bridges. Headhunt.
I have that one. And then I have these earrings.
The women get paid, the people that produce the materials, they get paid for what they do and what they produce. Then also there's an additional amount on top of that that helps to fund other projects that Salvage supports in Sri Lanka. So for example, the only HIV drop-in center in the country is funded by Salvage.
And Govinda left us with a few ways you can get involved outside of the event.
Well, I think part of it is beginning to raise your own awareness, beginning to understand the issue. I mean, you can connect with Human 2020, but I would suggest more do something within your own community, do something within your own location, your own city, your own town.
Haven't done much since that injury.
Connect with people there. Find out what's going on in your community.
You can find more reports on Infowars.com.
Cutler fired it downfield, tipped away.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Fool me twice, and I won't be fooled again.
For you're just stupid. Fool me, can't get fooled again.
This is an engineered crisis to create artificial scarcity on the world's most valuable and simple resource, water.
People like Al Gore are constantly blaming extreme weather and natural disasters on climate change when the real culprit is weather.
He's
but in all reality, climate change is quite real. Hi, I'm Rex Jones, reporting for Infowars.com. All the recent flooding in Central Texas is leading many people to believe climate change is the real cause. Take a look at Barton Creek. This used to be a dry creek bed. Now look, it's flowing like a real river. In fact, if you take a little peek at a topography map of Texas, half of those things is green and the other half is brown.
Cutler pick.
Where
No.
the Texas Hill Country begins and the flatland ends. It's the known boundary between wet and dry areas of Texas. In fact, we have so much rain
Cowboys
that
cannot
over
do
4 days.
shite
My
this
sister,
game,
Stevie Ray Vaughan, was almost
except for that kickoff return for
the general
touchdown to open
weather
the
in
game.
the state of Texas can vary from snowstorms to a desert heat.
There's Cutler.
But generally,
Great,
our
finally
climate is
catches
the same.
one.
People like Al Gore are constantly blaming extreme weather and natural disasters on climate change when the real culprit is weather. But in all reality, climate change is quite real. Here's an excerpt by well-known climatologist Tim Ball as he details the effects of real climate change on the world today.
My life has spanned 4 climate changes. I was in the pre-war warming up to 1940, and then I was in the cooling that occurred from 1940 to about 1980, and then I was in the warming from 80 to 98, and now we're into another cooling trend, and hopefully I'll live to at least one more climate. When I started out, it was not a contentious issue at all. Now it's become one of the most contentious in the world because it's been exploited for political purposes.
And that's
Just
picked off by Rhodes.
Show that there was something to the fact of the speed of light and put that whole theory in jeopardy. With the anthropogenic global warming theory, the idea that a CO2 increase will cause a temperature increase is now clearly shown to be wrong. In fact, I challenge anybody to show me a record of any duration, of any time period in the history of the Earth in which CO2 precedes a temperature increase. In fact, in every case, it's the opposite. Temperature increases before CO2. And it will take, ironically, a cooling occurring, that is now occurring, to make people start to question. And so eventually, people will start to understand how bad the science is, how wrong the original theories are, and the whole thing will collapse.
Of course, the crazy weather we've been having is largely blamed by meteorologists on a pattern of weather known as El Nino, which is a warm patch in the Pacific Ocean, which leads to more rain in general in the United States. As you can see,
kicked
We're getting
off.
the full force of El Nino this year. And with meteorologists saying that there's a 95% chance
We're not
of
worthy.
line to this fall, we haven't seen the last of this rain yet. Garden Creek features the Lady Bird Lake, also known as the Colorado River, behind it. And even though we have many dams in place, massive rainfall can still cause flooding. People like Al Gore and Pope are claiming yet again that climate change is caused by human activity. How about we have a real scientist on that issue? Here's weather forecasting. Here's Corbin on what is the real biggest effect of climate change.
The origin of our solar weather technique of long-range forecasting came originally from the study of sunspots and the bizarre typical clothes. And then I realised it was actually much more interesting if you used the sun to predict the weather. What they found was an incredibly close correlation between what the sun was doing and changes in temperature on Earth.
He's
To the
just
Harvard
fire.
astrophysicists
Get
and
that
many
one
other
out of there.
scientists, the conclusion is inescapable. The sun is driving climate. CO2 is irrelevant.
Another place climate change creatures are flocking to spread their fear form would be California. It's 3-year drought. This doesn't seem that big compared to 200 and 400 and even 1,000-year droughts that have happened in California's past. The real problem with California is that it hasn't provided adequate enough reservoirs to supply water to tens of millions of people that live there.
That's a flag.
Artificial scarcity on the world's most valuable and
Holding on the offense.
water. But the place where climate change creatures can be real damage is in trade agreements such as the TPP. TPP is going to put no environmental restrictions whatsoever on third world developing countries, allowing them to develop freely. This doesn't sound like such a bad thing, but well-developed countries will be shackled to the ideals of environmentalism and be forced to have very strict, almost insane environmental regulations. So when people start preaching to me about Bill Nye, Al Gore, and the Pope telling us climate change is all our fault, just tell them that they're complaining about the weather. I'm Rex Jones, from the Control Wars.
That's caught by Lewis.
In the past decade, we have witnessed unparalleled scientific discoveries in the area of health, but no one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. DNA Force is one of the most expensive formulas to produce. Some of the ingredients in DNA Force are $12,000 a kilogram. We are using the coveted, patented, only American source of PQQ, CoQ10, and more. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? Well, we're bringing you a total win-win. The ultimate value, cutting-edge, trailblazing game changer that also supports the InfoWar. We have produced a limited run of DNA Force, and it will take up to 12 weeks to produce more once we sell out. Secure your DNA Force today at
That's not caught either.
InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. DNA Force from InfoWars Life.
Another major health threat, this one in Toledo, Ohio, where everybody in the entire city has been told not to drink the water.
Ohio's governor declaring a state of emergency.
Did you know that the average
Cut.
person
No
uses
drop by
about 80 to
Paris.
100 gallons of water at home every single day? If there's a water emergency, will you be prepared?
Panicked residents forming long lines throughout the day.
Well, here at a supermarket in Toledo, you can see the shelves empty where water once was.
To stay safe and healthy during a crisis, you must have access to safe, clean water. Water which will not be available at your local grocery store.
There's a mad dash on right now to stock up on supplies.
The ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water
Just a
filtration
common man.
system is a must-have for every modern, independently minded household. Protect your family's safety during an emergency. Go to InfoWarsStore.com today to purchase your ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system or call 1-888-253-3139.
Did you know that only 6 corporations control 90% of what millions of Americans see, hear, and read every single day? It's the illusion of choice. Think about it. The mainstream media is owned by only a handful of megacorporations with vested interests. But on the other hand, the internet is an interconnected network of billions of sources. So you can research information for yourself from multiple sources, or you can blindly accept what you hear or read in the mainstream media, never questioning what you are being told. This gives you a false
sense of reality. I mean, do you actually know what you think you know? Or have you been programmed to accept someone else's version of events? Think about it. This is Darren McBreen, and I want you to break the matrix at Infowars.com and
Star Wars,
PrisonPod.tv
Madden,
and listen to the Alex Jones
NCAA.
Show, because there's a war on your mind.
I don't know. Star Heroes, rock bands. That's caught by Sanders, another touchdown. And they're being raped. OSU fans are hitting bricks.
Joe Biggs here with Infowars.com. Now this week the Pope decided to go full retard when he released a statement saying that gun manufacturers are not Christians. Well, I find that extremely funny to hear that coming from
The Pope went full
because
retard.
here at Infowars.com, we do
Never
have
go
a
full retard.
Christian-owned gun manufacturer as a sponsor, Head Down Rifles. Now their CEO and co-founder, David Hunsucker, released a statement where he was just completely in shock by the fact that the Pope would release
And that is blocked again.
going after
He picks it up and almost gets a
manufacturers
2-point
of
conversion
guns.
out of
It's
it.
a Christian-owned company. These
That
guys
is the
provide a
fourth
service
block
for families who do not have the money to go to these
I've
expensive
seen
grocery stores and buy food.
in
Head Down
4
Rifles
games.
allows families to go out, hunt, put food on the table for their families. Now also, they provide a service in security. Now why do we need security? Because we live in a world where bad things do happen. There are people out there who intend to do harm to you, your family, and your belongings. So you have to take it upon yourself
Kind of been
to go
collecting
out
Xbox
and
games.
protect yourself and your
Or looking
family.
for them, at least
Now,
since I started
there
streaming.
is a verse in the Bible, Luke
Like-
22, verse 36.
Probably my favorite
Jesus
system
says to them,
ever.
but now if you have
The
a purse,
original Xbox.
take it, and also a bag. And if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one.
There's
Now what does that
Cutler.
mean? If you're going to be walking around out there, you need to be able to protect yourself. This is in the Bible. But the Pope doesn't want you to have that. He's jumping on board with Obama, with Feinstein, with Holder. What happens in areas where they go and grab your guns? Look what happened in France with the Charlie Hebdo attacks when ISIS was able to just move freely about and shoot things up, kill people.
And Brink
Look what happens when
catches.
ISIS comes to Texas, here in the U.S. They get shot down. Why? Because we are able to protect ourselves. We live in a world where bad people do bad things. And you have to
And
sometimes take it
Brink
upon
gets a
yourself
touchdown.
to protect yourself. There's not always going to be this divine power that's going to jump down and stop
Too little, too
a
late.
bullet coming
But
at
they're
you. You need to
looking
be able
better
to
there.
pick up a gun and be able to protect yourself and those around you. And that's what it's all about. It's funny how the people who want to take your guns are the ones who are most surrounded by them. The president doesn't want us to be able to have our guns, and yet he is completely protected by tons of people with firepower. Feinstein, completely protected by people with guns. Eric Holder, completely protected by people with guns. When you look back in history, at all these nations where the weapons were taken away from the populace, what has happened? Complete and total tyranny. There's a lot of things that we have to do in this world, in this country, to make some positive change.
No,
But one thing that
18-point game.
shouldn't change is the right to bear arms.
Free possession game
I'm
still.
Joe Biggs with Infowars.com.
You know, with all this talk lately about gun control, it occurred to me that I've yet to see a single politician who can explain to me how they plan to take guns away from the criminal thugs who are out there on
And
the streets right
onside
now.
kick recovers
I'm sure
the
you'll hear plenty of talk
offsides.
about how they plan to take guns away from us law-abiding citizens. But if you take guns away from all of us legal gun owners, then the only people that will have guns will be the bad guys. In fact, I'm curious. I want to see a show of hands right now. All those for gun control, raise your hand. All right, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyone else? See there, that figures. All the usual suspects. Any questions?
I was watching that thing on InfoWars, and I wasn't even watching the fight.
Deposits, built-up toxins, and even dangerous objects.
Can we get another block?
We worked with the top developers in the field of detox to take tried and true herbs and other compounds known to safely cleanse the liver and infused it with the latest research and technological development on concentrating these ingredients to give you the maximum effect. Liver Shield is the only liver support product on the market that uses a patented Spigyrex blend of powerful organic herbs that support detoxification. And when you visit InfoWarsLife.com, see the instructional video on how to do a 6-day liver detox. This isn't a game, and let me tell you, the results are dramatic. Liver Shield is totally organic and made of the safest high-quality herbs. But that said, you need to consult your physician before you do the full detox. Liver Shield can also be used daily by itself for overall upkeep of the liver. Secure your Liver Shield today exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com for the lowest price available. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call 888-253-3139.
You are watching the InfoWars Nightly News, which aired 7 p.m. Central at InfoWarsNews.com, and your support is helping us defend liberty worldwide.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the corporate states of America and to the plutocracy for which it stands, one nation, under debt, easily divisible, with congressmen and justice for sale.
Tonight,
the Trans-Pacific Partnership that's been developed for 10 years in secret.
That's Caught by Kendrick. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oop, didn't mean to mute the mic. I'm gonna try something real quick to see if the sound echoes. Let me know if it does. I gotta mute my mic though.
Police continue their witch hunt, finding evil racists and white supremacists around every corner. The latest instance is Apple has removed all American Civil War games from the App Store if they have a Confederate flag in their logo. Apple, headed up by the radical liberal Tim Cook, who urged his 1.3 million Twitter followers to continue, quote, removing the symbols and words of racism from the face of the earth. Yes, Apple yanks Civil War video games because of the Confederate flag. The film Gone with the Wind is now under fire, saying that it should be removed from all streaming services and put into a museum. Warner Brothers has now discontinued the production and is recalling all Dukes of Hazzard toys. The popular television series from the 1980s, made into a feature film in 2005, starring Jessica Simpson and Johnny Knoxville. The iconic Dukes of Hazzard car, now a racist vehicle. But in true liberal fascist hypocrisy fashion, Apple continues to allow video games like Grand Theft Auto to be purchased in their App Store. So it's not okay to, play the South in a Civil War video game. But according to the radical liberal Tim Cook and his company, it's okay to play somebody who goes and kills police, prostitutes, rapes people, and commits crimes for fun. But what else can you expect in the new world order? Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. Stay tuned. There's more videos coming soon.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight in studio with Leanne McAdoo. We just looked at the reaction that people had on the street as Leanne went out kind of playing a devil's advocate because there had been defacement of the Confederate monument there. Let's see, it's Jefferson Davis, wasn't it? Okay. There was a defacement there, so she took a petition out to get people's attitude about that. Of course, we see an article on Infowars.com how the Amazon staff are now answering questions. This is why they're taking down all Confederate flags, the battle flag of Northern Virginia. Why did you take it down? Well, they say we were told that this is a federal law. Now, that could just be an ignorant employee as part of this. Actually, the person who was talking to them got it in a chat, a text chat, and actually took a screenshot of that. That could just be one employee doesn't know what's going on, but other people were told that as well. So that's interesting. That's an article from Paul Joseph Watson. Then, of course, we have Apple's movements on this too, don't we, Leanne?
Right. We're seeing it all over. eBay, Walmart. Now Apple has removed all American Civil War games from the App Store because of the Confederate flag. So you can play these games where you reenact the Civil War, but now no more because of the flag that flies there. But you can still go and play games where it simulates rape and beatings and carjackings, and I mean that's completely fine.
And you can get Nazi memorabilia as well.
Exactly.
You know, it's interesting if you go to Google, if you type in KKK 1920s, take a look at the pictures there. Look at images. What you're going to see from the Ku Klux Klans is you're going to see them carrying American flags everywhere. Okay, they're waving American flags. You got giant American flags that are being held by 100 people going down Pennsylvania Avenue and the Capitol. You can also see crosses. Now, those are symbols that they co-opted. Certainly, the American flag and certainly the cross do not align with their principles. You can also see that if you go to the KKK 1960s. Take the same, you'll see the same thing. It's the American flag. As one guy pointed out in a video we got up on Infowars.com, he said, you know, the Confederate battle flag started being used by the Ku Klux Klan once they were infiltrated by the FBI. You know, we need to understand what this stuff is really and truly about. Malcolm X, Leanne, and the Black Panthers became truly dangerous to the power structure once they reached out and started embracing people of every race. Once they were all just about being black, they left them alone pretty much. They followed them, they watched them closely. But as Larry Pinckney has talked about it, you know, in the old days of the Black Panthers, before the new Black Panthers, once they were just a group that involved just black people. When Malcolm X...
Okay, seems like it's working.
Became truly dangerous to the power structure once they reached out and started embracing people of every race. Once they were all just about being black, they left them alone pretty much. They followed them and watched them closely. But as Larry Pinckney has talked about it, in the old days of the Black Panthers, before the new Black Panthers, once they were just a group that involved just black people. Once Malcolm X...
Yeah, it's like it's working. Do I make this full screen? Is it dark or does it need to be brightened up? Can't really tell. Looks pretty bright already. Seth Reagan.
We've been ambushed by a Sith battle fleet. The Endar Spire is under attack. Hurry up, you don't have much time. I'm Crass Logo, ensign with the Republic fleet. I'm your bunkmate here on the Endar Spire. You were about some ships. I guess that's why you haven't. Hurry up! We have to find Bastila. We have to make sure she makes it off the ship alive. You swore an oath to protect Bastila when you signed up with this mission, just like everyone else in the crew. Now it's time. I know she may not have an official rank in the fleet, but she's the one in charge of this mission. I've heard all about your reputation. Fleet combat training, tops in your class. It's no wonder you were handpicked for this mission. Word is the officers haven't seen a recruit with your kind of potential in 20 years. But all that potential doesn't mean a thing if you can't deliver when it counts. We're soldiers. We're trained for combat. Bastila is going to need men and women like us at her side during this attack. Don't be stupid. You won't stand a chance against the Sith by yourself. We gotta stick together if we want to make it out of this alive. So hurry up and grab your gear. You need to suit up so we can get out of here. Use the right thumbstick to control the camera,
and the left thumbstick to move towards your foot locker. Or you can pull the left and right trigger to cycle between them. Come on, we have to hurry. Just put your equipment on so we Okay, let's move out. We should stick together. You'll have more success with the party than on your own. Because of the attack, this room is in lockdown. But don't worry, I've got the override code. You'll have to use me to unlock the door. You always control the leader of the party. You can switch who is the party leader by pressing the black button. Press the black button next. Now that the door is open, you better take the lead again.
Hey.
This is Corporal Max. We sit are threatening to overrun our position. We can't hold out long against this firepower. All hands to the bridge. That was Cart contacting us on our portable communicator. He's one of the Republic's best pilots. He's seen more combat than the rest of the Endar Spire's crew put together. If he says things are bad, you better believe it. We have to get to the bridge to help defend Bastille. There's a map of the Endar Spire and a copy of Cart's message in your electronic journal, just in case we get separated. That door is locked. Target the door using the thumbsticks or the trigger. Use the directional pad to cycle. Target the door use the direction. In the lower left, the icons in your icon on the fourth icon, the third icon is offensive. These Sith must be the advanced boarding party. For the Republic! feeling that won't be our last battle with the Sith. Good thing we have med packs to heal our wounds. Like, to use an item like a med pack, or to use a single shield or force power, you need to know how to use the action menu. Lower the icons in your... The icon on the far left is the fourth. The third icon is up there. Use an item like a med. First, use the block button. Notice the flashing up and down there. Use the directional pad. Use a knife. First, notice the flashing up and down. Use the directional. Dark Jedi, this fight is too much for us. We better stay back. All we do is get in the way. That was one of the Jedi helping Vasco. Damn, we could have used her help. Just beyond that door. Then I put your melee weapon. I should equip a melee weapon too. Your melee weapon is made using a propulsive weave. It's strong enough to stand up against anything, even a lightsaber. Should want past still alive, but once she's off the ship, there's nothing stopping them from blasting the Endar Spire into galactic dust. Axel is not here on the bridge. They must have retreated to the escape. Should want past still alive, but once she's off the ship, there's no. Something behind you. Damn, another Dark Jedi. I'll try to hold him off. You get to the escape pod. Go! This is Cargo Nasty on your personal communicator. I'm tracking your position through the Endar Spire's life support systems. Basilisk escape pod is away. You're the last surviving crew member of the Endar Spire. So I can't wait for you much longer. You have to get to the escape pod. made it just in time. There's only one active escape plan left. Come on, we can hide out on the planet below. I must go through the roof. We're the last two crew members left. That's the escape plan. There's no reason for us to stick around here and get shot by the system. Come on, there'll be time for questions later. Good to see you up with Senator crashing about in your sleep. This is kind of one out of line. I'm Carr, one of the Republic soldiers. Try not to worry for a second. We're in an abandoned apartment. Drag you away from the crash site. I stumbled into this abandoned apartment. By the time the second guy was Terrace is under city control. It's orbiting the planet. They declared martial law and have imposed a plan to dominate. I saw in your service records that you understand the remarkable number of alien languages. There is no way the Republic believes that anyone can sit by. We're gonna find that. Get off this planet. You can't rely. That's Mac Tank. Bastila is a Jedi. She was with this strike team that killed Darth Revan, Alex, Sith Master. Bastila is the key to this whole Republic. The Sith must have found out that she was on the Emperor's path. Set an ambush for us on the system. I believe Bastila was the one the escape pods that crashed on the Terrace. For the sake of the Republic War, we have to try and find her. While you were out, did some scouting around. There were reports of a couple of escape pods crashing down into the Undercity. The Undercity is a dangerous place. So I want to go there unprepared. We won't do Bastila any good and get ourselves killed. Good idea. We can use this abandoned apartment as a base. We'll probably get some of the prisoners stories about Jedi information manuals. It's in force with the terrible things that we learn. Wipe away your memories and destroy your memory. But I think if we don't do anything stupid, we should be okay. After all, we're looking for Bastila. Alright, soldier, let's move out.
doing in here? You can't just come barging into someone's home. That's no excuse. You can't just go around barging into people's apartments because you're curious. But at least you're more polite than that hateful orphan. I can't help you there. Since this thing was Holden, I've been scared to leave my apartment. I don't know anything about what's going on in the outside world anymore. Just one of Darvik's men who can't keep his hands to himself. But all he got from his trouble was a nasty scar from my vibroblade. Too bad. I don't want to talk about it. I'm in enough trouble already. No, I don't think so. I can't afford to trust anybody right now. Good. I don't much like strangers in my home. And I can tell you from experience, there aren't any good law against a simple battle. That's why the Republicans are training soldiers in hand-to-hand. any of those Republican famous points about Macron and the other people. My homeworld was one of the first planets to fall to Mars. It's a bomb the accident of that, of course, is stop. So I go to the theater most of my orders and I do my it's just I don't see why I'm doing that when I get I know that. I'm not angry at you. Don't think that. I must not be sex. Probably mean well with your questions. I'm just not telling you at all. I'm more used to taking action. My focus on the business. So let's just do that. If you have more questions, ask them. Yes.
move on. Have you come here just to bother me, or do you wish to test yourself? You have a wish to test it. So there, young sir. You're interested in buying a book just 50 credits, and I'll sell you all my cards. I'll leave them. Now, of course.
Hi there. I have to send you around for. Of course, they have domestic officers from the military make fresh time off. I'm not busy right now, so I'm not in uniform. My name is Simon. You want to suggest that? I'm actually a little surprised at talking to you at all. Just to keep you on time. Save the sympathetic best friend now. I'm not buying it. Work on my day off, so that's
Don't you chuckle my clothing that I'm not going to fit in. Get off with it. I can't just keep talking to the contraband. Come here to relax. Fighting around.
Who would you shut the fuck up? You.
Where did you get those clothes? A trash compactor in the lower city? And where are those books ordered? Why is the healthcare so incompetent? One word from Daddy and I could get you fired. It's too late for apologies. Daddy's going to hear about this.
We couldn't get a reader to keep this first. No, what's the draw on the deal street?
Who cares? It's Duncan and girl. It's not like we're going to miss you.
I have to say, the people saying it was God's mystery.
Ladies and gentlemen, I call your attention to the dueling ring. Here, two combatants will battle for your viewing and gambling enjoyment. Now, I hope all of you open it down because we're ready to roll. In this corner, I give you home again. You beat me in the dueling ring, and now you're gonna rub it in my... What? I don't have to answer your question. Look, I admit it. You're better than me. Everyone's better than me. Boy, is that what you wanted to hear? You satisfied yet? Are you happy now that you've taken the last shred of dignity I have? Oh, well. You beat me fair and square. But if I still had the use of my fingers, you would have more. Back before my injury, I would have mopped them.
Ladies and gentlemen, over in this corner, a woman with steel on her bones and ice water in her veins. And in the other corner, it's over. The fight is icy, knocked out cold. Ladies and but there's always something. The stranger is now. The mysterious stranger is now. No, has done it again. What is it?
Lesson on how to keep your social balance. Maybe you'll Daddy!
Welcome to Secret Minute. Because of the Sith One,